Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, back with another discussion video, and of course you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, we're talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Now, it's been 13 years since Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 came out. First off, let me just say, I'm pretty excited for Pro Skater 5. I know that it's been getting some weird responses lately from all the decisions that Activision's been making with this game, and I know I have to take modern Activision into consideration, and I'll get to that later in the video. But if I can do a little bit of a retrospective, this story starts out like a lot of the other stories that I've told before of how I got into the Tony Hawk line of games. And that was back with the very first Pro Skater, back in like the late 90s when I was super little. I was like a toddler when I was getting into Crash, into Spyro, into Tekken, into Space Invaders, Cuber, and Pac-Man. Tony Hawk was among those games. And I grew up with the series, as I did with Crash and Spyro and all those. And they were really good. They were really invigorating. I think Tony Hawk was one of the first skating games of that kind to come out on the PlayStation, or just in general, I think. And it did really well. It was received really well. The second one, I was looking at reviews with Caleb earlier prior to this, not for this video, but just because we wanted to see how certain games have done, you know, on certain from certain people like Metacritic and IGN and all that. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 did really well, and I just know that from general experience as well with the game. Like, it's one of my favorites in the series. And there were 4 Pro Skater games before this one was announced, and then you got Underground 2, which are probably one of my most favorite. Pro Skater 2 is up there, but Underground 1 and 2, especially 2 for its wonky ass plot, those were among my favorites in the Tony Hawk series. Then you've got American Wasteland, which was really good. I have not played Project 8, but I played like a little bit of Proving Ground, and that one was okay. Hi, Caleb. And then
hi guys.
He's over on this side. Anyway, so Proving Ground I didn't play a whole lot of. I don't think I have it anymore because my copy was actually kind of messed up. Then we got Downhill Jam. I don't think it's in this order exactly, but from here on out, but there's Downhill Jam, which was a racing game on the Wii, which I have, and it was kind of weird. And then you have, there was, around the time of American Wasteland, there was a spin-off, or maybe just a port, under a different name, called American Skateland, on the Nintendo DS. And from there, they just kind of became less and less, like they were, the games, like, were spaced out by release, like, I think a little bit wider than, so not as often, they wouldn't come out as often as Underground and Pro Skater, the original Pro Skaters, like how those came out pretty, I wouldn't say annually, I don't think it was annually, but they came out quite often. And they were becoming less and less as the years went on, once you got to like the Proving Ground stage, and all that. So from there was a bit of a gap where there wasn't any Tony Hawk games being made, and mind the phone going on. Yeah, that's Kim's phone. Anyway, so
Sorry.
no, it's fine. Anyway, so there was a time where there weren't a lot of games from Tony Hawk coming out. Then you had, I'm not sure what order, but Tony Hawk Ride and Shred, which included having to get this huge-ass motion-controlled skateboard designed controller, which I never used or gave a shit to buy because that was the gimmick. And from what I heard, it was not very good. I thought personally the ideas were shit, so I didn't bother to play those 2 games. I wasn't gonna be doing this shit, having to bump up the thing to ollie or whatever. I don't fucking know. It looked convoluted and complicated, and it probably was. So I didn't bother with it whatsoever. So I was just there. I wasn't gonna lose any sleep over a new Tony Hawk game not being made, but I was always wishing that there would be. And then the closest thing before Pro Skater 5 was announced was the original Pro Skater has been released in HD. There's an HD re-release. So when I first heard of that announcement, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty neat. But do you think they'll actually go back and make another Pro Skater? Or, I remember at one point there was supposed to be an Underground 3 that Tony Hawk himself had talked about before. That never ended up happening. But then, come E3 2015, I just looked randomly on PlayStation's YouTube channel and there was Pro Skater 5 and I was like, whoa, okay, awesome. So I was pretty excited. I'm still pretty excited now. The only thing I have to take into consideration now is that this is modern day Activision working on this game. And Activision took hold of the series from way back, in the day. And those games were amazing. They didn't have much else they were doing in terms of, I guess, long-running series and all that. Now they've got Skylanders, now they have Call of Duty, and now they're doing Pro Skater 5. And I've seen most of the trailers for Pro Skater 5. I saw the very first announcement trailer. That's what got me, into it. That's what let me know. That's how I found out about Pro Skater 5. The thing is, though, and the main... Sorry it took this long to get to the question, and it's the title of the video, So, will it be good, though? That's the main thing we have to ask ourselves here. Because from what I've been hearing, people are saying, it looks okay, but I don't know. So the first thing you have to take into consideration is that they've said, okay, this is a game that veterans, longtime veterans, will instantly get the control scheme and all that. They will be able to pick it up and play it like it was one of the past games in the Pro Skater line. But beginners will also be able to get a hold of it because of how they've designed it for the modern generation of gamers. So the fact that it's a Tony Hawk game, old school, retro styled, but yet it's for the modern audience, it's a little weird because some of the things they've put focus on is online play, and it's going to be way more community based than the other games have been. So Caleb's taking the call, sorry. So I should be saying sorry to him that I'm talking while he's doing the call. Anyway, so it's way more community based and it's way more internet based because Pro Skater 4 had some online connectivity because that was back in the PS2 days, and that was when they were trying. That was like a whole new thing that games, like consoles, were doing, was trying to connect online and do stuff and play with people online and all that. But now that that's become like an integral part of gaming nowadays, like first off, it's going to fit seamlessly into this game. But will that help the game's sales? Okay, first off, I think that maybe it will, because like I just said, it's an integral part of gaming nowadays. But this game is following up onto a series that was built around just the game itself, without any online stuff and playing with people online and it being community-based. So that stuff will probably help it to an extent, but if that's what they mainly built this game around, I don't know how it's going to do. And it might not do that good because of that, because the past Pro Skater games had nothing to do with that stuff. They said, let me see, what was I going to say here? Well, not first off, but my first off was already about all this stuff. Second off, they have a new look, the game has a new look, it's cell shaded now, and that kind of turns some people off. I've been hearing, oh, the other games weren't like that, so now that it is, immediately it's going to get hate. And I'm kind of with it, like, I'm not opposed to it, but it's going to take some getting used to. New mechanics, the only one thing they've talked about that I've heard of at the time of this recording is the slamming mechanic, where if you're soaring through the air after a long ass, like a jump off a building or something, or you're going from a rail to a rail, from like a high rail to a low rail, and you're grinding, instead of just having to wait for you to go, you can just slam down. Kind of like the slam attack in Electronic Super Joy. If you've played that, you know what I'm talking about. It's a weird comparison, but you just slam down real fast and you go visuals. I don't know why I have to show visuals and sound effects, but that's actually kind of cool. I actually like that mechanic. It's going to be interesting to use that mechanic to string together combos faster and to possibly even string together longer combos. So if they probably use that to their advantage and integrate that into some of the goals and stuff. Like if they bring goals back, that is one thing I was going to mention earlier. I hope that they bring back the format of like the single player completing goals to unlock stuff, because that was fun as all hell to do in the last Pro Skater games. And I really hope that they put a lot of focus on that. And if they have a story mode, put a focus on that. So because that's what they did with the other Pro Skater games. So that's if they really want to make it another installment in the Pro Skater series, that's what they should put a lot of the focus on. Not the sole focus. If they say they want to make it more community based, so they can do that, and they can put a large amount of focus on that, because that's a series first for Pro Skater. But don't make it like Splatoon. I've mentioned this on Trash Talk, in our Trash Talk Extra Splatoon, where it's very, very internet-based. Like you have to have internet to play the majority. Your options will be severely limited if you don't have a good connection or just prefer not to play online. And and now I'm just saying, if you're playing Splatoon and you want to do that, your options of what you can do and play are limited, like a lot. And if that happens with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, that's going to turn me off to the whole game in general, like a lot. So that's why I'm saying, don't have a huge, like that's all you can see. You put on the binoculars and vision, internet vision, like that's all you can see, and that's all you'll put the focus on. Like don't do that, because if that happens, it's not going to be like the other Pro Skaters, which they've been claiming it's going to be like. So that's one thing I have to say about that. Along with the look, which the look is like whatever, it's cel shaded, who cares? I think it's actually gonna look pretty okay. So there's that. Another thing I wanted to mention is DLC stuff, because this is Activision, this is modern day Activision. So if you get like, oh, unlock a skater for $7, or like you can buy wheel packs of different colors or something for like $3 each, $3 a pack, or like new deck designs for like, you get a character, 3 deck skins, and like 2 wheel packs for like $10. Like that's gonna be very weird, and that's gonna turn me off a lot to the game if they do that, because again, that's not what you need to do with Tony Hawk. Never had to do anything like that before, and it's not like, I probably say that because they really couldn't do that before, because those games came out at a time where DLC was like not heard of really before, so they never did that. But if they do that now, where you know it's hugely it's susceptible to that on a huge scale, because they can what I'm trying to say is they can just do it if they wanted to. They could do the DLC shit, they could do that kind of stuff. You have a large focus on internet connectivity, but I hope they don't, because that's not what made Tony Hawk good from back then, having to focus on stuff that was just, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but because that stuff in this day and age is just everywhere, if they do that with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, it's not going to be like the past Tony Hawk Pro Skater games that they claim this will be a huge part of and be just like. So hand gestures everywhere. I know I do that a lot. That's pretty much it. So, are you excited for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5? Will you buy it? Will you play it? I think it should be coming out at the time of this recording, not to date the episode or video, depending on when this comes out, sometime in October or late September. The date will be right here. Anyway, that's when it comes out. Will I get it if it comes out for PS3, because I still do not currently have a PS4 at the time of this recording, but I hope to get one soon. I don't know, but we'll see. So if it comes out for PS3, I will totally get it. If it's just for the new gen consoles, then Wes ain't gonna get it. I don't think he's ever played a Tony Hawk game before. But anyway, that's it. Are you excited? What do you think of the game? Let me know below. I'm Marcelo. I don't know how to end this. I'll see you guys later. Take care.